Hello and welcome. Now we are going to delve into the first chapter of political science of class 10. The name of the topic is power sharing. So before going to the chapter, there is my sincere request to all of you that you should visit my YouTube channel. The caption is Durga Charan Nanda. Subscribe to it and press the bell button. In order to get the fresh videos, you please keep in touch with my channel. The name of the channel in small letter Durga Charan Nanda. Okay. Now we are going to discuss the first chapter of political science of class 10. The name of the topic is power sharing. So now we are going to discuss about power sharing, the very first chapter of political science book of class 10. Before going to explore the topic, now it is pertinent that we should discuss what power sharing is. You know power. Power is the capacity to do something, to achieve something. So, power is shared or power is centralized. It is a mood question. So, there is a saying, dare to share, otherwise prepare for the catastrophe. That means if you do not share, then one day the catastrophe would come like a hydra-headed monster and that will collapse entire fabric like a house of cards. So take care and share. In Christian Yajurveda, there is a couplet that Je naktyakten bhunjitha. That means you should eat your bread, your meal by renouncing something for others. That means all the things should not be eaten away by you. Rather, you should share some of your meal with others. So ଯେ ନକ୍ତ୍ୟକ୍ତେନ ଭୁଞ୍ଜିଥା ନିଜେ କିଛି ଭୋଜନ କରିବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ତାକୁ ଅନ୍ୟମାନଙ୍କ ସହିତ ବାଣ୍ଟିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ। ସମସ୍ତ ଖାଦ୍ୟ ନଦେଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଖାଦ୍ୟରୁ କିଛି ବା କିୟନ୍ଦଶ ଅନ୍ୟମାନଙ୍କୁ ପ୍ରଦାନ କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ। So this is the message of sharing. Why? Na sharing is caring. Whenever you share your feelings, your emotions, your passions, you will be lighter. You will feel enlightened as well as lighter. So, before going to the topic, I like to tell you a story of Sir Philip Sidney, a noted war hero of Britain. Sir Philip Sidney was taking lead in a battle, and in the battle, in the end, it had been seen that Sir Philip Sidney was injured and he needed some water to quench his thirst, otherwise he would die. So immediately he wanted to fetch water to him, so he instructed one soldier to bring a bottle of water. When the water came to him, he was prepared to quench his thirst by devouring the water. In the meantime, he had seen one soldier was very much injured and he wanted to drink a little water in order to quench his thirst and to survive. Sir Philip Sidney had seen this and he wanted to give that water to that soldier. But that soldier told that no, sir, you should drink water. Sir Philip Sidney told that Mr. Soldier, you need this water more than me. हे सैनिक ये पानी मो अपेक्षा तमर अधिक दरकार अछि तेणु ये पानी तमे पी दियो। सैनिक से पानी पी देले एवं पानी पी सारला परे संतृप्त सैनिक मृत्युवरण करिवारु वंचित हेले अर्थात तांकर जीवन रक्षा हे गला किंतु दुखर विषय सर फिलिप सिडन मृत्युवरण कले। So he left his life. He renounced his life. He shared the very water which became a life for another soldier, whereas the commander, Sir Philip Sidney, saved his life. He renounced his life. he deliberately left his body. So he became immortal, but by doing the work and the contribution of sharing, he has been immortalized. ସେ ମୃତ୍ୟୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ବରଣ କରି ଅମୃତତ୍ୱ ଲାଭ କଲେ ମୃତ୍ୟୁର ମା ଅମୃତ ଗମୟ. So what power sharing is? Let us delve into the topic. Well, now you see Belgium. Belgium is a small country in Europe. If you take Haryana, then Belgium is smaller than Haryana also. Belgium is such a country which has a land boundary with France, Netherlands, Germany, and Luxembourg. So, from this, you come to know that it is not a country with some prominence. It is just a mere a small country, unnoticed country. But why we are going to discuss about Belgium? Let us explore. Now, look at the ethnic composition of the nation. What is ethnic? What? That means a specialized community who has been identified by their fraternity, their blood relations, and a long history. That means ethnic is a group which is related with each other through blood relation or racial similarity. So, like Odia is an ethnic community, like Rajasthan ethnic community, Keralite ethnic community. So, in Belgium, as you are seeing on this picture, on this PowerPoint, that Belgium has two regions. One is Flemish region and another is Walloon region. In the Flemish region, 59% people who are residing there are by ethnic composition are Dutch. Dutch means the people of the Netherlands. ବେଲଜିୟମର ଫ୍ଲେମିଶ ଏବଂ ୱାଲାନୋଇଆ ଦୁଇଟି ଅଞ୍ଚଳ ଯେଉଁଥିରେ 59% ଲୋକ ଡଚ୍ ଥିଲେ ବା ନେଦରଲ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡର ମୂଳ ନିବାସୀ ଯେଉଁମାନଙ୍କୁ ଡଚ୍ ବୋଲି କୁହାଯାଏ ସେମାନେ ବସବାସ କରୁଥିଲେ. I repeat again, Belgium has two areas. One is Flemish region and another is Walloon region. In Flemish region, 59% of the people were Dutch speakers. That means by ethnic composition, they were the offsprings of the Dutch. Dutch means the people of Netherlands. And 40% of the people who were staying in the red marked region called as Walloon region, they were French by antecedent. And 1% people which is marked in green color, they were German region, German people living in the Walloon region, some parts of the Walloon region. 1% of them are the German people by ethnic composition. And the capital of Belgium is Brussels. Brussels is the capital of Belgium, which is marked here Brussels, and it is the capital of Belgium. Now let us have a glance over the ethnic composition of the capital city Brussels of Belgium. As you know, 59% of the Dutch people were residing in Belgium, whereas 40% of the French people residing in Belgium, and 1% minority population of German origin were living in Belgium. So, in totality, 59% Dutch, 40% French, and 1% German. That means the Dutch are the majority. Next comes the French community, then the German community. But the ethnic composition of Brussels is quite altered. There 80% of the population in Brussels were French speaking. That means the French who were minority in the country, they became majority in the capital city of Brussels. And the Dutch who were majority in the country of 59%, they become 20% in the capital city. So the situation is altered. Thus, we have discussed about the ethnic composition of Belgium in the entire country as well as in the capital city of Brussels. But what is the necessity of discussing all these things? So the reason of discussing this is the tension that mounted long ago between the two communities. Why that was so? The minority French community were rich and powerful. I repeat again, the minority French community were rich and powerful, whereas the majority of Dutch community were inferior to the French community. They got the benefit of economic and social development much later. So whenever there were equalities crept between them, so automatically the tension came out. So entirely in the decades of 1950s and 60s, tension was mounting between the French-speaking community and the Dutch-speaking community. The tension between the two communities was more acute in Brussels. Brussels presented a special problem. How? The Dutch-speaking people were majority in the country, whereas they were minority in the capital. So that was the main problem. So due to the problem, the Dutch and the French communities, they thought out a plan and they came out successfully by sharing power in a suitable manner. What was the model of power sharing? We should discuss about them in detail. So, everywhere in the world, if there is no power sharing, problems should automatically occur. Now, think of a question. You know that India is a multicultural, multilingual, and multi-regional, as well as some of the people, they are also multiracial. So, India is developing such a culture which is pan-regional culture, pan-religious culture. For that reason only, when other countries are facing fragmentation, India is unitedly stands up and India is showing a notion, a symbol of unity and integrity. But one thing you should remember that India was also partition because due to inability to share power or due to reluctance of sharing power by the then leaders, the Muslim community also developed some skeptic attitude and some diffident attitude. So they developed fishy-finance tendency and India was ultimately partitioned in 1947 and two countries came up. The nation was divided into India and Pakistan. It is a long story and a prominent story. We should not forget about that. So power sharing is very much essential. The people of Belgium, especially the Dutch and French, they thought out a plan. How we should share power in such a way that the disturbance and violence could be avoided. So between 1970s to 1993, they amended their constitution 4 times. The constitution, which was static previously, they made it dynamic. And they worked out one arrangement that enable everyone to live together within the same country. Everybody should think that it is my country. The arrangement they work out is different from any other country and it is very innovative. Though it seemed peculiar to us, but still it was very much innovative. So how was that amendment which looked peculiar as well as innovative? Let us explore about that. The first form of power sharing was the changing pattern or the ratio of Dutch and French ministers in the central government. They made it a provision in the constitution that the Dutch and French speaking ministers would be 50-50. That means equal number of French and Dutch ministers should be there in the central government. There is a fixed quota. My point is speaking is that in order to avoid conflict, both the communities share power equally. As they shared power equally, possibility of any conflagration and disturbance was completely avoided. So they took up the policy of a Cow Britannia 50-50, very, very tasty. So some special laws require the support of a majority of the members from each linguistic group. So in order to amend the constitution, to make any law, no single community was given the power to do it unilaterally or by its one side. The two communities, especially the Dutch and the French, even the German, they all sat together and made some special laws. Many of the powers of the central government have been given to the state government. That means there was also sharing power between the state government and the central government. The state government was not subordinate to the central government. My point of speaking is that the central government is not the superior authority of the state government. That means there is also equality prevailed in the levels of government. So the sharing of power became prominent, conspicuous, and appealing to everybody. So now, what is the fourth point? Let us have to go through that fourth point. In addition to the three amendments, the fourth amendment is the creation of community government. It is a very novel idea. What is community government? Now, besides the central government and state government, the community government was created. It comprised the Dutch, the French, and the German-speaking people, no matter where they lived. And that community government was entrusted with the powers like education, culture, and language. That means all the communities, they thought that they were vital in making laws. So whenever everybody got the share of power, the question of violence, the question of catastrophe, the question of disturbance, the question of civil war was totally avoided, and Brussels became a model for other countries to imbibe, to follow. So Brussels set an example which was highly envious for others to emulate. In addition to the arrangement for the central government, state government, and community government, another point which is noteworthy that for Brussels, the capital city, a separate government was created. In that government, you see, equal representation was given to both the communities, the Dutch and the French. You know that the Dutch were majority in the country, the French were a minority in the country. The ratio was 59:40. But in the capital city, the ratio was reversed. The French were 80% and the Dutch were 20%. So, in the central government, the Dutch and the French, they shared power 50-50. Here in the capital city also, the power was shared 50-50 amongst the French and the Dutch. So, what happened? Now, the majority French in Brussels accepted equal representation in Brussels because the majority Dutch accepted equal representation in the central government. So now we should come to the advantage of the Belgian model. This Belgian model, the four amendments and the power sharing is very complicated. It looks complex. But the model has worked very well so far. They avoided civic strife. The two communities, they stopped civic strife. That means there was no conflagration, no civil war, no fighting, no violence amongst the communities. So Belgium showed a model. Everybody imbibed that, and the European Union chose to have its parliament at Brussels. As the power sharing in Belgium is complete, fruitful, noteworthy, and emulative to all the countries around Europe where there was power strife or civic strife. Because you know, Yugoslavia is a country which has been fragmented into six pieces due to non sharing of the power. So now we should go to another country. This another country is Sri Lanka. You know it very well, Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka has long association with India because you know King Rama, when he was in the exile for 14 years, he just won over Sri Lanka and killed the demon King Ravana. So it is a mythological story. Sri Lanka has the size same as Haryana state of India. Just the Gulf of Mannar and the Ram Setu which you are now seeing. A few kilometers away from the Tamil Nadu coast, Sri Lanka, a country, or we can say it is an island. So, what happened in Sri Lanka? Let us explore. Sri Lanka's social composition was peculiar. In Sri Lanka, the Sinhali people, those who speak Sinhali language or Sinhala language, is 74%. Most of them are Buddhist by religion. And in addition to the Sinhala people, Tamil people were residing. Tamil people comprised 18% of the total population. And amongst the Tamil people, there were Hindus, Muslims, and some of them were also Christians. The genesis of Tamil people can be traced that the Indian Tamils who migrated to Sri Lanka as plantation workers during the British, and the Sri Lankan Tamils were the Tamil natives who stayed there for a longer period of time. And 7% of the population, in addition to the Singhali as well as the Tamil, another 7% of people who constituted Christians who speak Sinhala as well as the Tamil language. Like India, Sri Lanka also struggled hard against the colonial rule. It was under the British colonial power and it got independence 1 year after India in 1948. Soon after attaining the independence, Sri Lanka showed the characteristic of majoritarianism. That means majoritarian measures were taken by Sri Lanka to establish Sinhalese supremacy, who were 74% of the total population of Sri Lanka. So what happened? Let us explore. In 1956, an act was passed which recognized Sinhala as the only official language of Sri Lanka. That means there was another language, Tamil language. Most people, especially the Tamil people, they spoke Tamil language. It was completely relegated to the background. Nobody thought about Tamil language, and Sinhala became the official language. You know that in India, 22 official languages are there. Hindi is not the national language, rather it is one of the official languages of India out of the 22 official languages. So, India is sharing power amongst different linguistic groups, whereas it was conspicuously absent in Sri Lanka. Why? Now, they only amended their constitution and passed an act that Singhali or Sinhala would be the official language. In universities, in different government posts for lectureship, for professorship, Sinhala speakers were preferred to the Tamil speakers. So there, the majoritarian attitude of the Sinhala people created a vociferous tendency. What happened? We should explore. In addition to that, What did they do? Now, the constitution of Sri Lanka was amended to protect and strengthen Buddhism one religion. In the first instance, they made Sinhala as the official language. In the second instance, they made Buddhism as the major religion. To strengthen Buddhism, they did everything. That means Buddhism became the state religion. There, the Fissiparous tendency became more prominent. As Sinhala as well as Buddhism were getting prominence in 1956, the Tamils felt isolated. They thought that even the constitution was against them. Their language was neglected, their religion was neglected, their culture was neglected. So none of the political parties considered their need. They were relegated to the background. They were they were deliberately neglected. So the Tamils formed a group to influence the government to achieve their ends. They formed organizations and parties. They wanted to fight for their rights. Nothing happened to them. That was a very sorry state of affairs. Repeatedly, their demands were neglected. Due to neglect, callousness, and non-hearing of their genuine plea, the Tamil people were very angry. They formed a military outfit that was Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam (LTTE), a militant outfit to take violent actions. In the violent action, as you know, many people had lost their lives. Even the noted former Prime Minister of India, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, also lost his life due to the LTT conspiracy by blasting a suicide bomber in Sri Perumbudur to Sri Rajiv Gandhi. So many families were forced to leave the country as refugees, and many more lost their livelihoods. But the civil war has caused a terrible setback to social, cultural, and economic life of the country. In your first chapter of economics, you might have studied that Sri Lanka is showing a very good human development index (SDI). But in spite of the fact that the communities are not residing well, there is lack of power sharing. There is no facility for the minorities. The minorities have been neglected since a longer period of time. So, power sharing is highly necessary. If you do not share power, you should face the catastrophe. You should face the violence. You should face the troubles. So, power sharing is highly essential. So, my point of saying is that power sharing in a democratic setup is a bare necessity. Why bare necessity? It has two basic reasons. One is prudential reason and another is moral reason. We should discuss about those reasons in our next video. Till then, goodbye. Keep in touch with my channel Durgacharan Nanda and wait for the new videos to be uploaded. Thank you very much. Have a great day.